Hello, everyone, and welcome to MBA 590 Digital Marketing Office Hours Week 4. This week, the big thing that we're going to be talking about and what you'll be seeing in the videos is a discussion of social media strategy, essentially taking the social media channels we built on to the next level and talking about how to strategically orchestrate everything. There's a couple of things I want to chat about that have come up. That's the main goal is watch those videos. There will be, again, I'm every week this semester, I'm trying to add a new video to the content and specifically an applied video. So there will be a new one on social media monitoring tools I hope to get up in the next day or two. So take a look out for that. If you haven't, by the way, I did add a new video to last week on using Google Forms to do market surveys, right? So that's up, and so you can kind of take a look at that. And I highly recommend taking a look at that as partially a way to develop an instrument for your market research component of your group project, okay? Speaking of which, I have a couple of questions that have come in about the group project that I want to start by addressing. So a lot of people have asked, like, what kind of company should we work with? What kind of company should we find? Do we have to find a real company? What I would recommend is that I can tell you what has worked out to create the best group projects in the past, right? And the best group projects in the past, I find, have been driven by someone who has a close connection to the company and can interact with them and really kind of understand what the pain points are that that company is suffering and how that might be alleviated through the use of a digital marketing plan, right? So that's really kind of like that's what has worked out well in the past. I did have a couple of questions about people using a company that they might also be using for another project. That's fine as well, right? I have no problems with that. Like if you're using it for another class. However, I do expect there to be two separate deliverables that you're doing. So you can't just literally turn in the same deliverable to me that you're turning into another class, right? If that's a concern or you have any questions about that, let me know. We can talk through that. I'm not going to double check, but I would assume that you're abiding by the honor code whenever you're turning things in. If you need any leads, let me know. Specifically, I think I've given away one lead that I had already to a couple of people, so I think that one's pretty much used up at this point because I don't want to overwhelm that person. But Kelly Walton, who's one of your classmates, she posted on the discussion forum a number of other leads that she has of people who are interested in working with someone for internet marketing projects. Okay, so that's it from the group project point of view. Let me actually not end with that because let me actually just pull up again what is going to be due a little bit over a week from today. So a little over a week from today, you have the project introduction that is due, right? And apparently I have to log in again. Sorry about this. Thought I had this all set up already. Apparently not. Shouldn't take too long. Got it. Okay, cool. So here, let me pull this up. Window capture. Okay, it's coming up now. Okay, there we go. Okay, so click through to your guys' Moodle page. Okay, so scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll find this final team project document. Right? Oh, that's actually the final turn-in, sorry. Team project guidelines, right? So what you need to turn in for next week, right, on next week, is the part 4, right? This is the introduction. And, I make this comment every year, and every year one of the teams does this wrong. So hopefully this year will be the year that it doesn't happen. I do not expect you to just kind of treat this project as just simply answering the questions here. What I do not want is I do not want you to write for introduction, A, what is the product, and write down the answer to that. What you're generating here is a document that you can deliver to the customer, right? That you can deliver to the company that's interested in digital marketing. And so as a result, I want you really to write the best digital marketing plan you possibly can, not write direct answers to the questions that are up here, right? So it should be nice, it should flow, it should make sense, it should be something that you can hand over to someone who has never seen this document, the team project PDF document, has never been to my class, and yet they could still make sense of it and understand what's going on. So that's really what I want. So in reality, for each of the sections that you're going to turn in, like the little paragraph at the beginning tells you really what that section's about, and then the questions below are just there to kind of help you think about things you might want to discuss. I'm not going to take points off if you don't discuss one or if you skip over one, but as long as you introduce the company and you justify internet marketing to the company, right, then and you do it well, right, that's the important part, then that's necessary. And you might think, well, why would I introduce the company to the company? Well, if you've ever seen any good marketing pitch, every good marketing pitch starts by the advertising company telling the company that they're pitching to what it is about them that they're going to talk about in the marketing plan, right? Or what the aspect is that what makes them really think about it. I mean, just have to go back and watch a couple episodes of Mad Men. You can watch some of the reality shows about pitching, pitching contests to see that that's the way every single marketing pitch starts. And why do they start that way? They start that way because really the rest of the marketing plan is going to build from the strengths of the company. So you start by talking about the strengths of the company, and then you build the marketing plan from there. Okay. If you have any questions or concerns about that, let me know. But really, you're just looking at what is the product, what is the value proposition and revenue model of the product, why would a digital marketing company be appropriate, what will the firm gain from reaching out to consumers via the website, social media, and other online platforms. Right. So really, kind of batter that home as to what's important. So that's the one thing I really want to talk about with respect to the digital marketing plan. I also want to talk a little bit about the individual assignment. Now, some people apparently I thought I deleted the individual assignment from last year from all websites. Apparently, I only deleted it from the offline version. So some people apparently did see the last year's assignment, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But that is not this year's assignment. So I went in as soon as I found out about that and actually deleted those files. The individual assignment will be posted on February 8th, or sometime in the middle of the day probably. And essentially, you will have 1 week to work on it, and it will essentially be kind of a mini case study, right? You will be expected to kind of read a piece of text, probably a Wall Street Journal article. I haven't actually decided on the final one I'm going to use yet, so I don't know for sure. And then you will be answering 4 to 6 questions with about half a page per question for your answers, right? Another thing, I really expect you to write the best half a page answer for each of those. If the question is like, how could this firm use social media? I don't want you to just sit there and write all the different ways a firm can use social media, right? I want you to think about it in the context of that firm and write the best way it could use social media, right? A lot of times when I get back, and the assignments that don't do as well are assignments that essentially look like the person started writing at that section of the textbook, whatever it would be, or that section of the notes, right? On why to use digital marketing, right? And then just kind of wrote out what they thought, rather than thinking about in the context of the assignment, what is the most important aspects to emphasize, right? And I'd say that's the reason why people lose the most points, right? I literally feel like sometimes people wrote half a page, ran out of room, there's no room, you can write as much as you want, but then just stopped answering and just went on, right? That's not what I expect to see. So I give you a whole week to do this. I don't honestly think it'll take a whole week to write the answers to, obviously. So you should be able to schedule some time to do it. There won't be a top hat assignment for next week, partially to give you time to work on this instead. Okay? So that's the individual assignment. essentially treat it like a mini test, right, is the way to think about it. It's a test that you have a little bit more time. And I want you to write the best 2.5 pages worth of answers, not the first 2.5 pages worth of answers. Okay. Other than that, let's go back to the go back to Moodle. Right? I just want to talk a little bit about what else is going on this week, right? So watch the week 4 videos, 1 to 4. There will be a 5th video coming soon, again, on social media intelligence that I talked about. And then there is one thing I want to highlight is there is a new discussion this week, at least, on the Top Hat, on the follower factory. And this has been getting a lot of press in the news, so I decided, we're talking about social media right now, it makes sense to include it. But it's a great article. It was written in the Times, New York Times, about people just purchasing followers online and getting influence. And so there's some questions about that I posted to help you think about how you might write your response to that article. They revolve around, do consumers even care? How should advertisers handle this if they're working with influentials? Things along those lines. So take a look at it. I find it interesting. It's one of the interactive New York Times articles, so you can mess around with the graphs and stuff. It's kind of cool. And I just saw a follow-up that said actually that millions of so a number of influentials who are covered in that Times article have lost millions of followers recently, potentially partially because of that article, right? And it's not clear are those the fake accounts that are going away or are those the real accounts that are going away, but it's an interesting follow-up to what's going on. Other than that, the only other thing is to do watch for the 5th video that's coming out. Take a look at the video from last week if you haven't seen it yet. And I will get the analytics and optimization videos up for next week as soon as I get the video on social media monitoring up for this week. Okay? So that's it for today. Oh, one other thing I almost forgot. So next week is very important, right? Because there are 2 things due. The team project guidelines we already discussed. But the team contract is also due, right? And let's bring up the team contract again, right? And I talked about this last week, so hopefully it's not shocking or new to everybody. But try and bring it up. Okay, here it comes. Okay, so the team contract is really meant for you, right? So it is meant to help you as a student, right, to really kind of make sure that you have that everyone is committed on your team. Right? Okay, so I finally got it all set up. Sorry about that. It took a while. What I didn't do last week, I think I didn't talk about it. The most important part, so the beginning is just setting out. This is a generic team contract. I give it out to every class that I teach. It's not specific to this project, so the first page is basically tailoring it to this project, asking what is the goal, what are the objectives of the project. The next page is to enable the members of your team to kind of highlight their strengths and weaknesses and really discuss what they think they're going to bring to the team. And then part 3 is actually what I consider to be the most important part. In this case, you're going to write down every responsibility that you're going to have as a team until the end of the semester. And then you're going to make sure that someone is assigned to that responsibility, right? And it could be everyone is assigned, right? Or it could be one person is assigned. But this is the part that's most important, because if at the end of the semester, I want you to look back at this when you're doing your peer evaluation and ask yourself, did that person do everything that they were assigned to do, right? And they said they would be responsible for doing it. And if they did, then they should get a pretty good score on the peer evaluation, right? This is kind of a way for you to hold each other accountable for what you're doing. Then there's some things about meeting norms, right? Like when we're going to meet, how we're going to meet, that I think are useful to have established. And then finally, there's the signature page. And of course, this is an electronic course. If you just want to do an electronic signature or you want to write your name or whatever rather than printing out and signing it, I am fine with that, as long as your group is in agreement with that as well, okay? So you're not going to get a grade on this, really. You're just going to get, did you do it or not, right? But, I do hold these as a way to kind of adjudicate any kind of disputes that might happen at the end of class, right? So, again, just to reiterate, next week's a big week. You got the team project introductions due, the team contract is due, and then you're going to get your personal assignment as well, okay? So I think that's it for today. If there are any questions, I don't see any on the YouTube channel that have come in. I didn't see any on email before I started, and then it does not appear anyone has tweeted at me recently any questions, right? So that's basically what it comes down to. Look forward to seeing what you got for the project introductions. Other than that, I will talk to you next week. Take care, everybody.